Hey everybody, this is PJ's son. Well, I'm not PJ's son. I'm PJ's daughter-in-law. I'm PJ's son's wife, Alicia. Hope you're all doing well.
What's happening? That was a good intro. See, dude? That's
Oh,
it. And then you just roll with it. It's that easy.
okay.
What's happening, fam? Back for another one, dude. Hope you guys enjoyed that Growwich episode. Got some pretty good feedback on that one. I loved it. I wish it could have went longer, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really good to listen to too.
It was?
I mean, I was home, but I was working,
Yeah.
so I came down and heard some of it. But then I listened to the whole thing Monday at work and on my way to the ballpark, and it was really good.
Well, like, you can watch all those shows and whatever, but when you get to talk to one of those people that specialize in anything, but especially like murder and police work, not that he didn't just do murder, but detectives tend to do a lot of stuff like that, you know?
Sure.
And like all those years of, you know, it's just what he kept saying about, like, you know, you and I would be like, oh, she did it or he did it or whatever. You know, they can't work that way. And
Follow the facts.
Right.
That's what he kept saying.
right. But keeping your personal thoughts and like emotions out of it, that would be tough for me because I'm going, you motherfucker, you know,
Yeah.
I know you did it, but I don't know anything. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've always loved those like detective shows and the crime shows and all of that, and to know somebody who actually worked one we saw on TV, like that's pretty cool.
Why do girls love murder porn so much?
I don't
Those
know.
fucking shows are all that women are the
Yeah.
demo.
Well, like I would like on weekends when I'd be by myself on Sundays, I would watch that ID channel
Right.
and just watch them over and over where like the husbands kill their wives
Yeah.
or the wives get, or not wives, but like women get murdered and all this stuff. And so I'd be scared being by myself when you're working night shift. I don't know why I watched it, but it was addicting.
Right, dude.
But like when I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a detective. Like I wanted to be in the FBI or work crimes and stuff. And my dad told me I wasn't smart enough. And I mean, he was right.
No, he wasn't. What
I
a
didn't.
dick.
I didn't do good in school. That's what he meant. I wasn't really applying myself, and I would have had to do well in school, and you would have had to go to school for it. And then I think you have to start off as like a police officer. I mean, I know
Well,
that's
sure.
really not something I want to do, but I thought it would be really cool. But
You wanted to jump straight from high school to detective and murder cases.
yeah, right.
Right. Who was that chick when we were young that she was in all those books? Not Susan B. Anthony. I fucking know that's not. But like she had one of those name, middle initial, but she was like a crime.
Oh shoot!
You
Yeah,
know who I'm
I
talking
think I
about.
read some of them, and now I can't remember her name.
It's not Sally Jesse
It's not
Raphael.
Ramona.
No.
No.
I never read any.
Oh,
But
shoot.
you know, it was one of those in the 90s. Like she was huge. It was like
Yeah.
Goosebumps. But she was like a different. If only we had a device in our pocket that we could find this stuff out on. But I don't like to do that while
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk unless it's something serious.
Oh, while we're talking about murder stuff, I have to apologize to you because last night on Netflix you were asking about is it Murdaugh?
Yeah.
The Murdaugh. There is a new season out, and I didn't know that, so we'll have to check that out because I watched the whole first season of it. It was only a few episodes, but
So wait a minute. It's the same show on Netflix that you're talking about. It's just that there's a new season.
yeah,
Okay. So is that the one that we watched?
I think so. I think there's just another season.
Wait a
I
minute. Is it actors like playing like
No. I mean, I think it was more a documentary.
because we watched something on one of those things. I thought it
wa-
was Hulu though.
I didn't think I was with you when I watched it. Like you were at work. I watched. It's like a 3 episode, or I don't know how
Yeah.
many episodes it was about. Like the son.
Well, what else is left?
I don't know. The dad's in jail, and
Well, who gives a fuck
I
about
think there's still a couple unsolved ones. They're trying to figure out if they were involved in or not, but I don't know. Because some of the like his sons, I think that they thought might have killed somebody.
Well, those dudes were all kind of just like untouchable in that shitty
Mhm.
little town. You don't know. I mean, not shitty little town, but whatever. Like
Yeah.
they just ran the show for a long time. So,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check it out, and we can talk about it next
well, thanks for
time.
your apology. That was nice. I don't get
Mhm.
that too often.
I know. Well, when you're wrong, you say you're wrong. Isn't that what Patrick Swayze said in Dirty Dancing? Or no, it wasn't him. It was Baby's dad said it to Patrick Swayze, to Johnny. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. when he was like he assumed that he was the guy that got Penny knocked up.
That
and-
wasn't Elliot Gould, was it? Was that
No.
her dad? No way.
No, he actually was in some of those crime,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
crime
I
show,
know
I
what you're
mean-
talking about now. Yeah, that's not Elliot Gould.
but no, I don't know what his name was.
I was just watching all the Ocean's movies, and so Elliot Gould, I think it was Elliot Gould.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, that kind of bigger guy.
He
with the
played
deep
Monica
voice.
and Ross's dad
Yes,
in Friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Did you ever know? I know I've told you because I'm a loudmouth idiot, but like when I was in whatever year it was, I guess like junior, senior, whatever year in high school, if there was a Friends trivia game, I would have won.
Really?
I loved Friends because we only had basic
Mm-hmm.
cable most of the time, and it was always on 11 or whatever.
Yeah, I think one of those. It was on like one night a week, like the new ones. Yeah.
Oh, I was fucking with those reruns.
Well, my parents watched it. Like when my dad was married to Sandy, they watched it, and I never really got into it till later. I picked it up later when I was like in my 20s, and then got hooked on it. So now I've seen pretty much all of them now, from after all
Yeah.
the reruns. But
That was like Seinfeld for me.
uh,
Growing up, like somebody's dad would be, you like go over
Yeah.
their house and they're watching Seinfeld. I'm like, this fucking show sucks, and I love Seinfeld.
I still hate that show.
I've seen everyone multiple times, and I love that show.
Yeah, I know you do.
What else am I fucking with lately? Oh, Hard Knocks is over, my football show. I like that one, and I don't know anything about football, but I really like this show. But
Yeah, people, we don't really watch the same TV shows. It's rare that we sit down together and watch TV because we're just not really into the same.
no,
type-
because you
type
like
of shit.
watching murder, and I like watching comedy.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty normal, like, it's not normal whatsoever. Women are psychos, but my mom would sit and fucking watch those things. I mean,
yeah.
all the time. And it's like, of course you're terrified. Around every
Mhm.
corner is somebody waiting to bash
Yeah.
your face in.
The
and it's
kids
like,
like that stuff too.
that
Like
ain't cool,
the
bro.
CSI shows and stuff. And I mean, I'm probably, well, I know I'm a bad parent for this one, but I got really, like, Dexter was my favorite show, and I actually didn't start watching that till like later on in the seasons too. And then I decided to watch it from the beginning, and the kids started, like, I don't know, I was watching it, and then they wanted to watch with me. I'm like, I'm like, I should not like allow them to watch this,
I'm going to
but
have to edit this out.
we do.
No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
Well,
No, I
I'm
don't
just
fucking
like,
edit.
I feel like such a terrible parent, but like my parents let me. Well, my dad let me watch Friday the 13th, and back then, I think scary movies back in the 80s and 90s were worse than what they are now. Like the Freddy and the
yeah.
Jason, and they were really bloody and violent and stuff. Like Dexter, I mean, yeah, it had stuff in it, but it wasn't like the whole show isn't murder and stuff like that. But they really liked it, so I mean.
I never watched anything that gave me like, as a kid or anything. I never like had like bad dreams about anything but Freddy. And there was only one scene, and I don't even really, I just recalled this right now as we're talking. So this isn't like something I think about often, but excuse me, I'm sorry. My wife just made me a dope ass dinner and I'm coughing. Why does that have to do with my dinner? You think, why did I say that?
Dairy.
Yep. And then I had a shake after that too.
Yeah, well, stop coughing.
Yeah, I know. Fucking up my own pocket. But anyway, Freddie, like, I forgot which one it was, but of course he had a sweater on and the hat. And I don't even think he had the hat on because like he just got burned up or something, but he like came back to life. And I remember as a kid, I went, that one got me. And so like, that was the only thing I forgot. But it was better when we were kids. Scary movie.
Yeah, I think back then, like the Freddy, the Jason, the Michael Myers, the thing about they were always chasing somebody and they always caught the people. And I don't know, like that to me.
Yeah, but
is-
people like trip over everything and
Yeah.
they can't fucking just like get up and just
Yeah.
walk.
those got me.
So as corny as it is, it's like they did work though back then. But you
Mhm.
also couldn't Google the most terrifying things you could think of and watch them right then and there. So it was like, we just didn't have as much exposure. So when
Yeah.
you got to see scary stuff, it was actually scary.
Yeah. Well, and my dad would say, he would sit us down and be like, you guys know this is all fake. This is a movie. It's not real. And I was like, yeah. And so it was like scary, and I'd have to close my eyes sometimes, but it wasn't like I was scared to go to sleep or
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen
Yeah.
because it's so unrealistic. Those characters, like
The
Real
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
I didn't
that-
like that, dude. I thought
That
it was corny.
nasty. Well, I don't think I watched the original, but they did like a remake of it that was really scary. I think Jessica Biel was in it.
Oh yeah.
That one was really scary because
I
that,
didn't see it.
to me, that is real. Like that can be real. I mean, that Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers, those were like not real. They weren't like even human anymore. Like they'd been killed a whole bunch and brought back to life. Like that wasn't real life. But like Texas Chainsaw is some guy that, I mean, and it happens that lives somewhere out in the country and he kidnaps people and chops them up and eats them. And I mean, that's stuff that can happen. Like the Silence of the Lambs guy. Like, I mean, there's real murderers that do that kind of stuff. So
When I was running around with that group of people, one of them is in prison now, and he was a tree guy, a tree trimmer guy.
yeah.
And it was like some whole, I don't know, whatever the story is, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna talk about it. But he cut this dude up in like southern Missouri, and I don't even know why, but somehow they got a lead on it and went and found the remains, and like I think they did like DNA testing on his chainsaws and shit. And it's not funny, but like, yeah, so it is real. I mean, people really do cut each other up, but it, like as a kid, that never crossed my mind. It was
Yeah.
like some corny ass story that would never really happen, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them were pretty good. I'd try to steer clear from that shit. I watched Shane Gillis's stand up special, I think 4 times. We're gonna get him on the
watched that.
podcast.
Yeah, that I can't wait till he.
If he comes to St. Louis, people, message the fuck out of that dude. I'm not on social media, but message that dude and tell him, like, his biggest fans in St. Louis, and he'd just be really cool to go do his podcast. He'd be like, no, he's a star now, dude.
Yeah, I watched that one with you a couple times because it is that's funny.
It's offensive to. I can see why some people would call it offensive, but if you're looking at it from comedy and like joke writing and like intelligence, I don't know, man. Lately, it is. There's nobody better lately to me.
Yeah.
The stuff that most comics are saying now it's like they've been saying it or something. I don't know what it is, but he's just got that whole Philly
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
The dudes, the comics in Philly right now, they got a sketch show that's really good and really funny and really offensive, and that's my shit, you know. But I think those dudes are just killing it.
Yeah.
And then Texas is taking off now too. Austin with Joe Rogan, he opened a new, it's called the Comedy Mothership or some shit, but he opened a new comedy. What the fuck's it called?
Like a comedy store, comedy club.
Comedy club,
Oh.
yeah, down in Austin, and it's supposed to be like he designed it just for comics, and there's all kinds of little niche things that you would never think of that everybody loves it down there apparently. So I know a lot of really high profile comedians. Don't worry about it, but
Well, Gillis does a really good Donald Trump impersonation. That was
it's
probably,
really good.
That was probably my favorite part. I have to let Echo out. Excuse me.
He's interrupting again. Somebody start your clock on how long it's going to take him to stand at the door and wait to get let in. Oh, hey, dude. Alicia and I were talking the other night, and I was looking up some of the analytics. Now, I don't do this because, well, kind of I do, but it's not like, I've only gotten this many downloads, right? I've only gotten this many likes. That's not the big deal to me, but it is awesome and refreshing to see that you guys are checking out the podcast and downloading it and stuff. So again, and as always, I really do appreciate it. But in the analytics on Podbean, oh, he sees a deer or something.
Yeah.
It tells you what country or states your listenership is like coming from. And apparently there's somebody in Alaska who was listening to this show. It said there was one listener from there. So that's why I can say singular somebody. I don't think it's like all the homies in Anchorage are listening to PJ Sun. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. But whoever it is in Alaska, right on. And so I got an email set up just for this podcast. It is pjmdjm1961@gmail. So if you know the phonetic alphabet, which you should, Papa Juliet Mike Delta Juliet Mike 1961 at Gmail. Whoever is in Alaska, if you email me, I hope I know who you are, but maybe it's like a friend of a friend, right?
I don't know. I mean, I
somebody
don't know.
you know, or somebody that knows you, or somebody that I know, that a friend of a friend of a friend.
I don't know anybody in Alaska. I don't think so.
Bro, if you email me
Yeah.
from Alaska and give me a for real address and say what's up, I'm gonna send you something. I don't know what it is though. It might be like a toothpick or something. I'm gonna send something there. No, Alicia and I we were just talking about, like, should we make some hoodies?
Yeah. I want to.
I think it'd be sick.
T-shirts too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
hoodies, because it's getting to be that time of
Well,
year,
here,
and our homie in Alaska definitely needs a hoodie
for sure.
and maybe some sunglasses.
Sunnies?
Yeah, because the sun's always out up there,
Oh, yeah.
right? There are
Yeah.
times when it's like 22 hours of sunlight a
Mhm.
day. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But like, just that picture of Echo or something, on the back, and then like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm trying to be creative and come up with some cool little hoodies or something, just to,
Yeah.
because you kind of gotta give your fans something sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's in Alaska, and this is to everybody, fuck it, email me, and I'll get back to you and come up with something cool to do. I don't know. I'll have the kids help me get creative, and we'll get some stickers or hoodies, or fuck, dude, hoodies are gonna be expensive. I got a lot of listeners, bro. No.
Well, it is growing.
Right.
It's exciting.
And it's awesome. So whoever you are, say what's up, because I would love to know who's in Alaska and how you heard about this, and I think that'd be a cool story in and of itself. So I think what we're doing here tonight, it's been a crazy week. It's been a good week, but a crazy. Go ahead and get your dog so we can podcast. I have you come into the studio. It's a long drive for you. And not only do you bring your dog, but then your dog interrupts the whole thing. Whatever. This is unbelievable. This is professional podcasting. Yeah. It's been a really cool week. Oh my God, dude. Bro.
I just broke them.
If you broke those headphones, I'm going to be really mad at you. You're buying me new ones. Okay, cool.
Sorry. Can't take me anywhere.
Are you ready? Do you
Yeah.
want a podcast now?
Yeah.
You should have just taken over. It would have been fun. You're going to sometime though.
Maybe.
Just take over and do it. On the 17th of September in 2001 was the day that I left for boot camp. So, what is the math there? That's 22 years, right? In 2001 to 2020, that's 22 years, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I know I told a story that I had gotten signed up, later in my junior year, and September 17th was my original leave date, and all that stuff. So it's pretty wild to look back and like what life was like 22 years ago. And I'm about to go into another cool thing that happened this week. But before that, when I was growing up, I went to Catholic school. You know this, but I am talking to you, and I'm also talking to our fans and people in Alaska. So at Catholic school, right, everybody wears a uniform. Some of the reason behind that uniform is to like keep people, everybody is wearing the same thing. So it's not like you've got, what was it, Jabos and Z Cavarici and Guess and all
Oh
that.
gosh, yeah.
And I don't. And I've got like,
IOU.
I've got kangaroos with the little penny pouch on the side, and like poor kid thing,
Mhm.
So they don't want things to change. Go ahead and get the dog. So keep in mind, as you guys well know, raised by a single mom, did not have money. So I fit into the poor category, my sister and I, very well. However, my grandparents helped us out and put us through Catholic school because they wanted us to get that education. So all this I say to say, there was a dude We'll call him Kenny.
Wasn't that his name? You're such a dork.
Dude, if you're going to rob a bank, let's say Alicia comes to Alaska to meet you. Do not rob a bank with her. She will dime out whatever you do. All right. So his name was Kenny. Kenny he fit that other mold, right? And my mom raised me like, you don't make fun of people and you don't pick on people. You definitely don't bully people. I got in more trouble growing up in school for sticking up for the underdog, being like kind of popular or whatever, having friends. I fucking hated when people would mess with like the special needs students and stuff like that. I didn't think that was a good look. So that was not the thing here. Kenny played on our school soccer teams and baseball teams because they just took everybody, wasn't much of an athlete, didn't have a lot of friends, just because he had a shitty attitude. It had nothing to do with his socioeconomic status. It was just that he had a shitty fucking attitude. And so that's not going to, you're not going to have a bunch of friends that way. Anyway, on September 16th, actually, so your recruiter comes to your house to pick you up and takes you downtown. You stay downtown, finish up some paperwork. The next morning, they take all of the, enlistees.
Recruits?
No, you're not even a fucking recruit yet. They take all of the enlistees. I know I'm fucking up the word and somebody's correcting me right now. Thank you. They take everybody to the airport at once. You have the clothes on your back. You take a toothbrush or whatever the hotel with you, but they tell you when you leave, take the clothes on your back, a $20 bill, your photo ID, and if you have religious material or whatever, that's okay. So I have, I don't know, there had to be 60, 70, 80, 100 people in front of the apartment in Hazelwood behind Taco Bell, Coachway Lane people, right across the street from the police station. There were the whole, it was Bank of America. It used to be Boatman's. Remember when Boatman's Bank?
Mm-hmm.
And it was Bank of America. That whole parking lot was full of my people, all up and down both sides of Coachway, cars everywhere. The whole apartment complex was full. Taco Bell, Payless. There were people everywhere coming to tell me goodbye. It was fucking awesome. But these dudes are all barbecuing and drinking and having fun. And I'm the most nervous day of my life so far, I got to go do this thing and you guys are all hanging, So I got all these people coming. Fucking Mick is my dad. He was driving a dump truck at the time. Remember when he got in that accident and fucked them people up and fucked himself up real bad? Mm-hmm. He was driving that dump truck. Keep in mind, this is September 17th. So just a week ago, they attacked us in New York. This dude, and I got the photo somewhere. This dude spray paints "fuck Bin Laden" on the back. His dump truck was white, all white, and had purple flames, and it said Masters Trucking. He spray painted "fuck Bin Laden" on the back of his dump truck. So you're driving behind him, but it was I remember it was you know how when you go to write something on a poster and you don't space it out correctly, so the first few letters start big and look good, and then you have to cram in all the rest of them. Well, the fucking idiot didn't stencil anything out or anything, so it was just fuck, and then bin. I think he spelt it wrong and shit. He was a fucking idiot.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So there's 100. His dump truck is over in Bank of America. I know that dude was high. I've got all these people around. My mom is a mess. My sister is a mess. Some other people were just a mess because, the nicest guy in the world was getting ready to leave. Police officer, he's Detective Shane Parrish now. He was a police officer then. Pulled into the parking lot of my shitty apartment to try to he was gonna bust things up. What is going on here? Somebody, and it might even have been Mick, who should not be talking to police officers ever. Somebody went over to his car, I remember, because I'm sitting on the hood of my car, just nervous as can be. I was slamming water all day. I was fucking nervous. And they go over to his car, and he knew me because I knew his younger brother. So we all grew up together. He was a park ranger. We'd shoot fireworks at him and shit. He was friends. It was funny, but somebody went over to his car and I guess explained what was going on and why everybody was there. And he gets on the loudspeaker. He's like, "Good luck, Mr. Master." You know, and they did one of those deals. So I was like, "Fuck, thanks, man." You know, and so everybody's having such a good time, and I'm a mess. Into the parking lot pulls my recruiter. Now he's driving like a silver Intrepid, and I only know that because he had picked me up and we had done stuff before. I see another dude another person in the vehicle, and I didn't, you know, like he didn't call me and tell me he's bringing somebody else with him. So I'm like, okay. So he gets out to, you know, your recruiter, he like kisses your parents' ass, you know, because he knows he's got you already. And he is trying to be cool and all that. I get it. But recruiters have a job to do. So he gets out and we're kind of talking, and the door opens and this other dude gets out. It's fucking Kenny. Of all the people in the whole entire world that I was going to be going to like downtown and staying in the hotel with, and I figured we'd be in the same platoon at boot camp. It's the dude that like, so we made, remember those plaster of Paris volcanoes? Did you guys make those?
No, I don't know what that is.
Your school sucks. Plaster of Paris, like you mix it up and then it hardens, right? So you're supposed to make like, they had it where, you know, you can do like cheesecloth, and you can like mold a cool volcano that like is like,
yeah, I think I know what you're talking
like
about.
a mound, you know, and then you just do what is it, baking soda and something else, and it reacts and it kind of gives it a volcanic. Well, I waited till the last night to do mine, and so my mom's best friend Cherie came over, and she had a Lion's Choice cup. Back then, Lion's Choice gave you horseradish in like a little like clear container with a lid on it, you know how they do sauces, but this was like a real little one. So weird enough. So we had nothing to mold this off of. I had my mom and Cherie, who, you know, probably just got done smoking a joint. We're like, oh fuck, we got to do this thing. So we used the Lion's Choice cup as my shitty volcano. And then we cut a hole in the top of the shitty Lion's Choice cup and put the horseradish cup in there to like create that little divot to put the mixture in. So it would, we get that done. I painted it and like tried to be as creative as I could. And we made a little sign that said Mount Masters on it, you know, and like I'm trying to do something here. I take it to school the next day, and fucking Kenny is going to make fun of it. And like but the problem is with Kenny is that he would poke and poke and poke, like trying to get your attention, because, you know, when you're not getting positive attention from other dudes in class, like you're just going to do something to get any kind of attention. So, I mean, he got the shit beat out of him a lot, but it wasn't bullying, you know? It was like he would just keep fucking with people. And it's like, just leave people alone, man. You know, like that's why I didn't have any friends. So he said something about Mount Masters that day. I was in 4th grade. Mrs. Glass was my teacher. And he said something, and I'm like, just shut up, dude. You know, and he kept going and kept going. And the principal had to call my mom a few times when I would end up beating him up, because like, it would like bring me to tears. You know, I was really sad because I hated hurting anybody, but like he just pissed me off. You know, he wouldn't fucking leave me alone. And so my mom was like, you know, I know my son. He doesn't just act this way. Like this kid's pushing him. You know, so he says something a couple times about Mount Masters, dude, and it wrecked me. I got up in the middle of class, started wailing on this kid, got in trouble and all kinds of shit. But so this is the backstory of like who this dude was when I was a little kid. And then of course I get out of Catholic school, 6th grade, go to public school, everything goes downhill from there. But my whole like elementary childhood, I had to deal with this fucking kid that, you know, he was just a shithead. So he gets out of the fucking car with Sergeant Kettleston, my recruiter. And I'm like, no way. I say goodbye to everybody. Take off downtown, go to the hotel. Sure enough, me and Kenny Kincaid are sharing a hotel room.
Oh, you said his last name.
I already did, I think. Fuck him. Well, the story's going to get better, and I'm not, it ends up.
All right.
So we're in the hotel room, and we're kind of just like bullshit, because again, we haven't seen each other since like 4th grade, 5th grade, right? So it's like we're adults now going to boot camp. There's bigger things to talk about than Mount Masters again. He goes, hey dude, I want you to know, like, I just really wanted to be your friend and I didn't know how. So I just wanted to get your attention. And I'm sorry I acted that way, man. I completely understand why you used to beat my fucking ass all the time because, like, I deserved it. He was like,
Just like your dad.
right. He was like, what do you mean?
That was your dad's behavior towards the end of his life.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, yeah. Because he kept trying to get your attention, and then when you wouldn't respond the way he wanted you to, he would get real mean, and then would make you get mean, and that's why you didn't have a relationship at the end. He wanted to so bad, he just didn't know how to communicate
Right.
properly. So
That seems to be the case with a few people in my life.
yeah, definitely.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
so he's like explaining to me like how he understands why things were the way they were. It wasn't just me. It was like, you know, he did this to everybody. And everybody was like, just fucking leave me alone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We were raised better than that. I didn't have like bully ass friends. We were
kid.
good. I know,
He
dude.
He didn't really have social skills.
No.
Aw.
So like, you know, and now we're in this hotel room getting ready to go like do this thing. So he's telling me all this stuff, and frankly, I think I wanted to say something to him too. You know, like, hey man, my bad about all that. I could have probably handled myself a little bit. But he started the conversation, and after he said it, he was like, dude, I just never understood. Like, I would have been cool with being your friend. It was just like the way you came off about it fucking sucked, man. And you kept bothering me. He's like, I remember the Mount Masters thing. I should have just left it alone. I'm like, you remember Mount Masters? And he's like, yeah, you know. So we tripped out for a little bit, but I ended up, you know, apologizing and wishing him the best of luck. And we got on the same plane together, but we did not end up in boot camp. So I had never seen him again. He could still be fucking Sergeant Major by now. I don't know, but that was kind of a trip. And then, yeah, 3 months of boot camp. Do you have any cool questions about boot camp?
Well, the only thing is I feel like I know so much about it because you've talked to me a lot about it. But when you get there though, like, okay, so explain to me, because I've heard a lot of stories about boot camp, but I guess I don't know the process. So you got on the plane and you go, wait, wasn't there a story on the plane? Like there was a guy who got off the plane and left because
No.
he got really scared.
No, but he wanted to.
Oh, he didn't end up.
No.
leaving?
So we went from St. Louis to Phoenix. We were out in San Diego out of MCRD. We go from St. Louis to Phoenix, layover generally on a Southwest fucking flight anyway. For some reason, you lay over in Phoenix. Got off the plane. By this time, it's evening. Waiting at the gate for our plane from Phoenix to San Diego. Get on the plane. No, I'm sorry. This is the first leg. This is from St. Louis to Phoenix. He's like, dude, I can't do this, man. And I'm sitting right next to this dude on a plane now. Like I told you, you have the clothes on your back. You have a manila folder with all your paperwork, your physical shit, all the stuff you need to go, you know, they know you're coming, but like you there's paperwork you have to have with you. So you just have this folder. No phones, no AirPods. There weren't even real. I mean, there were cell phones, but like you didn't have them unless you had money. So this dude, he's sitting right across the aisle from me. He's like, dude, I can't fucking. We all knew who was going, you know. He's like, dude, I can't fucking do this. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? You're gonna be fine. It's cool, you know. This is gonna be great. We're gonna be fucking United States Marines. And he's like, no, this isn't for me. I'm gonna call my dad when we get there. And I think I told the story on here, but I was like, so you're gonna go home. You're gonna get to Phoenix and call your dad and tell him to get you a flight back home because you already can't do it. And he kind of looked at me and I'm like, you cannot do that, dude. That's not, you're going to regret that the rest of your life type of deal, you know? So I talked him through it. And he ended up being in my platoon in boot camp and did great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He ended up doing great. So no, he didn't. He stayed on the plane, but. So yeah, you get there and you do a week of processing, which, you know, haircut, you do that the first night. Like you get on the bus from the airport, head between your knees, you know, and they kind of drive you around and fuck with you. And then the yellow footprints are a thing specific to the Marine Corps. It is part of our history. It's been this way for a long time. So like, when you get out, there's just a bunch of painted yellow footprints in this particular area. And like just standing on those footprints is a huge honor, and it's got a lot of history with it, you know? So like that is your first step, if you will, to becoming a United States Marine. So like this drill instructor gets on the bus, and I don't know. I can never remember exactly what he said because it was a wild fucking night. But welcome to the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California, home of the world's finest United States. And he goes on with his spiel, and he's like, "Now get the fuck off my bus!" And he just starts screaming, and like there's other drill instructors outside of the bus slamming on the bus and shit, you know. So immediately you're freaking, and the screaming starts there, and then it's like, you go in, they go through all your personal belongings, which you don't have a bunch of and stuff. And then it's like haircuts, you know what I mean? The process kind of starts from there. So,
Wait, were you bald when you went in?
yeah, which is kind of a mistake. So I let my hair grow out like as much as I could. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You need it. It's like, because it's, again, like a rite of passage, or that's like them taking from you. The whole point is to strip you down to your like simplest form, and then build you back up as a warrior. So if you don't give them those things, or like the dudes that were jacked and the physical stuff wasn't a problem for them, they find what is your problem, and then they exploit that like a motherfucker, you know, and just because you're going to give them something. They're going to get theirs. So, yeah, you do like a week of this processing thing, and then you're up at the end of that week. I think they keep you up for 72 hours. It's 48 or 72. Like so the thing here is, because there are people coming from all kinds of different time zones. So they want everybody to, and there's tons of shit to do. All your like, signing over your like your life insurance and all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of fucking paperwork and little classes and stuff like that to do. So you do that for a week, and then no, you do that like Monday through Thursday, and then Friday's called Black Friday. That's where they go, you guys all go here, you guys all go there, and they split you up in your platoons. So you've got a big C bag, that big green bag, and then you go into the squad bay, and everybody's sitting there. And the company commander comes in and gives his speech, and then the senior drill instructor gives his speech, and then you meet your drill instructors. And that day is fucking wild, because they just start tossing everything, and it's pretty crazy. But after that, yeah, it's a long haul, but it's fun.
It's 6 weeks?
Excuse me?
9?
Excuse me?
I don't know. 12?
13 total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
13.
The long, hard one. The long, hard one. That's what
Yeah.
she said. Hi, buddy. Any other questions about boot camp while we're on here? Biggest dong, food.
Oh, yeah. What kind of food did you eat?
I thought it was good, and I think that it is good because you're so exhausted. Just any food is good, but
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, I mean, like at a certain point you can start to have like chocolate milk and stuff. But here's the catch. The whole kicker with food is, while 87 of you, I think total we started with 87, while you're all sitting in the chow hall, absolutely everyone has got to have their feet at a 45-degree angle. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And drill instructors are watching. They're eating, but not really. They're just waiting for you to fuck up, especially like the first few weeks. So if so-and-so is sitting there and just has his feet crossed like laissez-faire, and say you're in line getting your food, and you haven't even sat down, and somebody fucks up, you throw your food away and nobody gets to eat.
Ooh.
So like the first few days, or maybe like week or time, we can't remember specifics, but you don't eat a lot because everybody's in there fucking up. So the idea behind that is you don't want to be the guy to fuck up, because then it's on you why nobody else gets to eat. And they make it very clear who it was. So that's where teamwork and that
Oh,
that
yeah,
whole thing
okay.
comes into play because you want to dunk your cookie into your chocolate milk after you were told you can't do that. I don't get to eat. I'm fucking hungry too. So like that starts building the teamwork and stuff. But like there's a very, very specific way you have to eat food, right? So feet are at 45 degrees. Your hands are at knife hands, we call it. So if all your fingers, you guys listening, if all your fingers and your thumb are pressed together and your hand is as flat as it can be, that's what we call a knife hand. Left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee. When you grab your fork to take a bite of food, you do not put your face towards your food. You bring the food to your mouth. If they see you bend down like a dog, like how I eat, everybody leaves and you don't get to eat anymore. So you bring the food to your mouth while sitting up fucking straight. Bring the food to your mouth, put it in your mouth, take the fork out, set the fork down, put your knife hand back on your right, I'm right-handed, so back on your right knee, chew your food while staring straight ahead, not moving, besides like your jaw, and then you get to do it again. Then when you want to go take a drink, if you just pick it up and one-hand it, you're out. Everybody's gone. You have to pick up every cup you touch with two hands, take a drink, set it down, put your hands back on your knees in a knife hand, and swallow. If your hand doesn't go back down on your knee in a knife hand, everybody leaves. If your feet come from 45, everybody leaves. If you look around at your buddy, everybody leaves. If you get salt and go put it on your food, everybody leaves. You cannot mess this thing up. Would you be surprised after a few days how fast you can learn those rules and how you will abide by them, or you won't eat? Not only you won't eat, nobody gets to eat. And we get pissed at night when they go to bed, and you're the reason, again, we don't get to eat. So we got to handle that.
So like they have a class on this? I mean, I would have guessed.
Well, it's very much they scream it in your face. You can barely understand it. You say, aye, aye, sir, and then you just learn.
So the first day you go in there, what they call it, the mess hall or
Chow hall.
The chow hall. The first day you go in there, they're screaming these things like.
They're screaming the whole entire time.
So you didn't know these were rules till you went in there?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Well, so that first week you get to know a little bit of it, but it's very much not as strict and like chaotic, right? So when you meet these, I had 4 drill instructors to start with, and we ended up getting another one because he choked out a recruit in a different platoon. So they sent him to my senior because he was gonna fix him. And he ended up just being the worst motherfucker there was, but he was awesome. And so, yeah, man. But, I mean, as far as food goes, like, no, it's not great if I were to get a tray of it now, but at the time, it was really good. Yeah. And I remember at a certain point, you get to have, like, a dessert, and they had peanut butter cookies, dude. That is my shit.
Yes, it is.
But so check this out. And then we'll get off of boot camp. We'll do like, you can just ask me a question now and again about boot camp and I'll tell you funny stuff. If you're overweight, they have like a stencil with 2 lines on it. When I was in, they had 2 lines, and I know they change it sometimes and whatever. But when I was in, they had 2 lines. You would lay your green skivvy shirt down, spray paint those 2 lines on the front, or no, on the back, the front head your platoon, whatever it was. And so when you went through the chow line, they would give you half as much food as they would give me per se. I wasn't under or overweight. I was right in the middle. So they call them fat bodies. All the fat bodies got less food. But then if you were real skinny, they needed to put weight on you. You got one, and they would give you double rations. So like now you're forced to eat more food, or you can't eat. You know what I mean? You eat less. But it was wild. Like on day of graduation, some of these people, honestly, really, truly, their son would walk over to them and like, cause when they dismiss everybody, like here comes the families and here goes the recruit, the Marines now, and they're going to meet their family, and you could hear moms like, "Oh my God, Billy," whatever, and like they didn't even recognize their own son or brother or whatever, because they're like a different dude. I looked around for my fucking family for, I don't know, they went the opposite way that I did. And then when I went over there to try to find them, I had somehow missed me.
Yeah.
Oh, it fucking sucked. And then I turned around a corner of this building and saw my mom, and oh my God, she fucking lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were like 8 people there. All these idiots flew out there to see me graduate. It was awesome.
I thought they drove
No.
in a van or something.
No, because that dump truck that Mick had spray painted "fuck Bin Laden" on, he had gotten in an accident. He had been up for a while and was going down Veterans Memorial somewhere. I think it was like close to like the Wentzville area somewhere. And so they call it a soft shoulder. You know, when you're on Veterans Memorial, there's not a curb. It's called a soft shoulder. Generally, well, not generally, but when you're that outlaw type, you run overweight. So the reason he was taking side roads is to miss way stations, because if you go through a way station and you're overweight, they can tax you for that, or like, fine you for that, because you're fucking up the roads, and there's all kinds of legalities to it. But so obviously he was doing the wrong thing and skipping way stations. So he was on a soft shoulder, and I'm guessing he kind of nodded off or something. I don't know. And he started going off into the ditch. Well, when he corrected to get back on the road, he overcorrected. So now he's crossing over oncoming. He goes off into the ditch, but there was an oncoming vehicle, and they hit the last axle of his dump truck. And the only reason I say that is because it's like, I don't know what it is, 6 or 8 feet or something, that if he would have cleared, he would have been all fucked up, but the car would have been fine. He punctures a lung, broke all kinds of ribs. I think that was the accident where he got a big chunk of his ear cut off, but he got in a lot of accidents and got real fucked up through his life. So I don't remember if that was one or not, but puncturing his lung. Oh, and then so the car that hit him ended up being like either 3 or 4 special ed teachers going to one of their special ed children's funerals that day.
Oh.
Couldn't have been fucking I mean, look, he was all the way guilty and for sure should have went to prison like he ended up doing for 4 years, but like that's just way worse in court, you know? So the doctor told him when he got out of the hospital, he's like, my son's graduating December 17th. Like, I got to fly out there. And the doctor was like, I do not recommend you to fly on one lung with the other one being just punctured and like basically like new wound, I don't know exactly when this happened. So it was pretty near my graduation date, but the doctor was like, do not fly. I'm telling you, do not fly, because that one lung might, I know it's a pressurized cabin, but like there could have been a serious issue with that. He flew out there anyway. He was on like a cane and all fucked up. I'm like, well, what happened to you? But
wow,
that's how that story went.
Well, I'm sure. Oh, I was surprised he even made that.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
I know. I was pretty surprised myself, to be honest with you. But so there's boot camp. That was on the 17th. The 21st was another day, huh?
Yes, it was.
What was that one? Tell the people.
Well, it's your anniversary of when you stopped doing drugs.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
7 years, huh?
Yeah.
I was telling Matt Long at work the other day, I said something about us going out or whatever for our anniversary. He was like, oh yeah, how long you guys been married? I was like, well, not that anniversary. He said, what anniversary? I said, the anniversary of me, getting clean. He was like, oh yeah. I said, yeah, today it's been 7 days since I've smoked methamphetamine or snorted pills. He was
said
like,
7 days?
7 years.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
No, I knew what you
Last
meant,
week I smoked.
But you did say 7 days.
And you've only met Long once, I think, but like,
yeah, or twice.
And he's a straight dude. I don't think he's ever, as a matter of fact, I know he has never smoked pot. Like he has a beer or whatever, but he's never, ever done anything. And he looked over and was like, that sentence has only been said by like so many people in this world. I'm like, you're right, dude. Because after I said it out loud, I'm like, what a fucking thing to say,
Yeah.
to my coworker in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Like, but yeah, that whole day is like like I was telling you, it was one of those things where when you take, shit, what's it called when you, like, if you owned a store and you had to count up all of your products, when you take inventory. I was taking inventory of like my life and what I have and how happy I am to be here and have all this stuff and my family and health and all this other shit, So I was riding a high that day, no pun intended. And then today it was even still there, like, and I got to do some cool shit at work the past couple of days too. I was working with maintenance and like on the crane and out on the work flat and stuff out on the river. So that kind of stuff I really enjoy anyway. So that makes for a good day for me. But yeah, man, it was just, I don't know. It's not surreal, and like every year it gets less and less of like not less of a big deal, but it's just life anymore, being clean. So, but yeah, that was a pretty big one. I'm pretty stoked about that.
It's just a day I get to go out to eat every year. So.
Yeah, you did take me out.
Yeah.
And see, here's another fucked up thing too. Like we talk about like eating healthy and all that. Alicia, we got dinner, and then she ordered a 6-layer chocolate cake, and yes, you did.
No,
I
didn't.
And a piece of pumpkin cheesecake.
Liar! I said I didn't want dessert because I already had a stomach ache from our appetizer. As a matter of fact.
So then I was forced to eat 2 pieces of cake. No.
He ordered 2 desserts. 2 desserts and said that one was for me, and then he was
false allegations.
But he ate all of it. Okay, I did. Once the pumpkin cheesecake came, I'm like,
let's tell the truth here.
I'm lactose intolerant, or not intolerant because I can eat it, but I am allergic to dairy, so it hurts my belly like pretty much right away. So like cheesecake, no, I know I can't have that. I already had a bellyache.
That's funny because what was closest to you?
I know, but then because it was good, I'm like, it's in my face, like I'm not gonna eat it, and it was like homemade.
It was so good.
It was the best pumpkin cheesecake I've ever had. Like Cheesecake Factory's like doesn't even compare to this.
I can't tell you that I've ever had pumpkin cheesecake before.
Oh,
you make a pumpkin thing that's really good, but it's not quite cheesecake.
No, it's not cheesecake, but it ended up being really good, and I ate a lot of it. But then you ate the rest, and you ate the whole chocolate cake. I tried to bite it; it wasn't really.
I got mine for free, bro.
I know, that was really nice.
That was nice of her. Waitress was saying something about like dessert, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're celebrating. However, it came up, or it was my anniversary, I said, or something, and she said, of what? And I told her, and so she gave me a free dessert. So that's what you get if you're getting through any kind of addiction problems, or you want to and you're having trouble with it. Just think about the free pumpkin cheesecake at the end of the road, and that should be enough to motivate you through.
Well, I like how you're actually proud of it and you acknowledge it, because a lot of people would be ashamed and embarrassed and wouldn't want anyone to even really know. Because like a couple of my friends messaged him yesterday, and
Mo messaged me today.
She did.
Fucking gangster.
That's what I was getting ready to talk about. So my friends and I, we talk on Marco Polo, which is an app, and it's like kind of like it's video messaging or
like
video.
Chat.
Yeah. So like that's how we like stay in touch with our busy lives and stuff, my best friends. So anyway, 2 of my best friends texted Dom and told him like whatever they said, congratulations, whatever. And I was on there this morning and I said, hey girls, by the way, thanks. That was really nice. And Mo was like, oh my God, I feel like such an ass. And like, it's like, it's not that I didn't want to, but like, I just don't know how, because she hasn't known you as long, like my other friends, he's known as long as he's known me. Mo and I have known each other since middle school, elementary school, but we just like in the last few years, because of Marco Polo, started like talking and hanging out a lot, and our husbands all hang out. But anyway, she was like, well, I didn't know if like it was a weird subject, I don't, just like some people
like
would be embarrassed. She's like, and I didn't even say anything to Damon. That's her husband. She's like, cause I didn't know if he'd want people like
acknowledge.
He'd want he didn't want, or I wondered if he wanted Damon to know we were even talking about it. Like, I didn't want
Right.
to offend him that like we were all talking about it. I'm like, no, he's like really open about it and stuff. Cause a lot of people, we all have some kind of past. And I guarantee every single person has something in their past they're like really embarrassed or
Sure.
ashamed of. And like, but for you to be very honest and stuff. So like maybe this will encourage people that it is something to celebrate. It is something to be proud of yourself for. And it's okay to go out to dinner and celebrate because that's one more year of you, getting healed from something really terrible. So I think it is something worth celebrating. And it's always a fun time. Usually we do something. Sometimes they make you a dessert or we go out or we always acknowledge it.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's weird too. The people I work with, mostly like, well, a good majority are like small town country people. And like I said, man, and it's great. Of course they got their own shit too. They're not like some saints or anything, but, when we've talked about it and I'll tell them stories, this shit they see in movies type of like you get that vibe from them. And I never talk about it to glorify it, of course, because it's got to be the biggest regret of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like just the time. Yes, I would take it back, of course. But that kind of struggle, man, and overcoming something like it's a huge mountain, dude. It's a big fucking deal. So I am very open and honest. I think it's somewhat therapeutic. In the right space, of course, but I gotta tell you, people seem to be like pretty receptive. Not receptive, but like I don't feel a ton of judgment. That's not to say that there isn't any, but I don't feel a ton of judgment. Okay, I'll just say from work, I was like right at a year. Okay, so September 16, I got hired on December 17. And so I like what's that make it? Just over a year, right?
Yeah.
And so getting this job with the fucking Department of Defense, it wasn't my last shot because I would have figured something out and I would have been successful because it's just, when you have drive and stuff, then you want to be somebody you can. And, but it was a huge opportunity for me. And I just got lucky and there was just the stars aligned, man, and people were retiring and that's the only way you get in these places. And I know I got lucky, but also like I was 34? I've been there 7 years and I'm 40. So that would have made me 30.
Don't make me do math, please.
You can't be
end of the night
as bad at math. So anyway, I was in my like 30s. And so most people already have a 401k started and like they're adults and I wasn't. Yeah. So like I went to my boss and told him like, because there were a couple people that were kind of like, that knew me from my past that were kind of like, I don't know, man. But they didn't know that I had went through this kind of transformation either. And some of the guys, even just the way I look and stuff, they're friends of mine now. And they've since apologized on a number of occasions. Thanks, fuckers. But they were kind of like, nah, and so I've worked really hard to prove myself otherwise. And, I don't seem to get like negative from it. I think that if anything, it's helped me like try to help people. And it's something to, no, I don't do every day. I have to struggle with it. That shit has been over for a long time, like years and years for me. But once I made up my mind, like I told you guys on September 16th, 2016, Alicia and I were in her car outside Doc Shapiro's office and I just said I quit and I fucking meant it, I guess, clearly, because I did. But, it's helped me talk to other people who have had those same kind of troubles. And, you can't fix everybody, but I think there's a weird thing about being honest about something like that a lot of people might not feel comfortable being, and I want to be the guy that says, fuck that. Sometimes when you talk about stuff, it does make it easier.
Well, everybody, I think, this day and age knows somebody who struggled with addiction, whether it's someone in your family, a friend, or a friend of a friend or a family member of a friend, like in my experience, very few people seem like they really get better. And then when they do, they always go back. So many people that I've known throughout my life have died, close people to me. Like, so to have a story, it's like, I don't even want to say it's a miracle story, but it kind of is, because when I think about the people I personally know, I only can think of a couple who've really
Yeah.
overcame addictions, like completely, and didn't go back and didn't die, or that they, like I look at you and I can't imagine you ever going back to doing that ever again. It
No.
just doesn't even cross my mind.
No.
Like it doesn't cross your mind. And
I'm busy.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of people aren't able to do that. So it's amazing. And I think it's something to share, because maybe there is somebody who can say, if he can do it, I can do it. And if that
Well,
helps.
if that's you listening,
Yeah.
I know that's fucking cliched. It's like when you hear a billionaire go, "Look, man, I started from nothing, and if I can do it, you can do it."
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can be Tom Brady. Let's face it, man. He's a special fucking human being, and there's a billion special human beings out there. But I'm telling you, and again, email me. I will talk about pretty much anything. Like I said, unless it's got to do with security of my family, I'll talk about pretty much anything. And I'm telling you that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
But one thing I want to point out, I think why Kelly always says this, Kelly Sinovich. She's one of the smartest people I know.
Shout out, dude.
One of my best friends. She's like one of the smartest people I know.
Yeah.
But like what she says, and it makes total sense with an addiction, whether it's food or drugs or smoking or alcohol or whatever it is, usually there's a root problem
Of course.
that causes you to do that. For you, it was your childhood and then combat. And so when you got clean, you were seeing somebody who actually was really helping you with both of those issues.
Mm-hmm.
For the first, like you've gotten help before, but I think when you went to the VA, they were just probably focusing on the combat stuff and not really digging into your family stuff as much, where Dr. Shapiro was.
Mm-hmm.
He got through that part. And so it was like you were addressing the root of why you were turning to your addictions. And so I think of my brother. Unfortunately, my brother succumbed to his addictions and he passed away. And, I just don't think he ever truly went to the root of his issues, just like so many people. And you just keep digging yourself in a hole. And if you don't address the root of why you even started it, then maybe it's harder to get out. But it's just something I wanted to point out. You weren't getting the help you want. I know you wanted the help,
Right.
but you also it's not like you were forced to go get help, but
No.
you did keep going. You kept going. And,
Because of you.
well, not.
And like I told you the other day, and I mean it, and I'll say it on here, you're a huge reason why I'm alive. I appreciate you every day for that, but especially once a year,
Yeah. But you did the work.
I hear you.
I
but
mean,
this
whether
shit
I
don't
was
happen
there or
alone.
not, like,
Yeah.
you
But
still,
going back to like you were saying, child, I still haven't addressed most of whatever my problems are. What I did address was that my drug use was not fixing those, right? So, but honestly, I don't think it matters how you do it as long as you get there, right? So, sure, there are still stuff that we could all go talk to a therapist about and work on, but while that stuff isn't like 100% fixed or even a little percent fixed, using drugs and doing the shit I was doing, that definitely wasn't the answer, right? So it's like whatever you need to find to be your answer, fucking do that, whatever it is, because it's not even a practical solution. Like nothing good is going to come from that, right? It's like you don't meet too many people that are like, dude, I made all my money because I was a dope fiend for 35 years. And I'm retired and straight up happy. That story's never been told.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some weird dude that did one smuggling job and made a bunch of millions, I guess. But you're probably not. It's not going to happen to you. So don't let it. Why are you yawning, dude? You
I don't
tired?
know. I'm so tired this week for some reason. I'm not sure why. I worked 2 games, but nothing more than normal, and they weren't like even super late ones. But I don't know. This week I've just been dragging butt a little bit,
Yeah,
getting old.
I hear you. It's been early and long days, but they're good.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's the weekend. Even though you're not off, I am looking forward to having the weekend off.
You're looking forward to it more because I'm working.
No.
So now you asked me a
No.
question about boot camp. Ask me a question about addiction that could maybe help somebody, or just a weird. Excuse me. I'm sorry, dude.
That's so gross.
I know it's fucking not professional.
Well,
It doesn't have to be like something sad. It can be a funny, stupid story. I mean, none of it was all that funny, but
a stupid, sad. Well, I have to think about it because I don't.
okay.
It's hard because I've never had an addiction, and so sometimes I don't even really like
I'll tell a fucked up one.
understand it. Okay.
Joe Rogan had Kurt Angle. I don't listen to all Joe Rogan's whole things because they're long and stuff, but he had this dude named Kurt Angle. You know who Kurt Angle is?
No.
Kurt Angle was a Olympic gold medal wrestler.
Okay.
Then he went to WWE and WWF, and he was like a stud there and all kinds of other shit. Long story, he broke his back or neck. I think it was his neck, and got hooked on pain. It was like a 10-minute short I was watching the other day of the Joe Rogan show with him on it. So Joe asked him like what one thing he wishes he could take back or regrets or however it was worded, but he said starting with painkillers. So he gets hurt real bad and starts off with painkillers like everybody else. One night, he is in his hotel room. The next day, he's got the biggest wrestling match of his life against Brock Lesnar, blah, blah. Gets a call that his sister had OD'd and died from heroin.
Mm.
He said he looked over and he had like 20 or 25 Vicodins sitting there. And, so now he's going through this. He's got a big day coming up tomorrow. And then he learns this terrible news. So he grabbed all those Vicodins and just started like chewing them up and didn't wake up till the next day. He was supposed to be at the arena at 1:00 to like get ready and whatever you do before a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
And he got there at like 5 and but he went into talking about how painkillers would give him like energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think a lot of people understand that either. They kind of correlate like painkillers with that heroin like nodding out thing, and it's not.
No, because I had a friend, and she had the addiction of painkillers, and it did the opposite. Kind of like I guess what it would do. Like if I took Adderall, it would give them energy.
Yeah.
And so somebody who doesn't have that, like if I were to do a painkiller, well, I would think it would do the opposite. But now that I took Norco or what, that's like a very low dose. When I broke my wrist, I broke both my wrists and had to have
Yeah, they're yellow.
I don't remember what color they were probably,
They're yellow.
but I had to do physical therapy and it was really painful. But I couldn't drive for 2 weeks and I needed to go back to work. That was when I was traveling for work and I had to drive, but they told me if I drove and I got in an accident or something, I could get sued, So I'm like, I didn't want to take a chance. So I was really hardcore at doing my therapy, but it hurt. So I would just take one right before my therapy and it would make me feel woo, like,
Yeah.
but it would only last like an hour maybe and it would go away, but I would do it just before my therapy to get through it. And then that was it. But
That's the problem, is that it doesn't last that long.
yeah.
So he was talking about that, and then he was saying like for breakfast he would take like 15,
Yeah.
right, just to get the day going and stuff like that. End up getting 4 DUIs in 5 years and in rehab, and he had a whole crazy story. But that amount, that 25 of them that he took that time, it was wild. Like it was pretty. I was like right in the middle, right? So it wasn't the worst, but I was still like, thought I was having fun. and I got a bunch of Dilaudid from this dude, and I don't even know like how many of those fucking things I snorted, but it's scary to look back and think about something like that, because like while you're being a fucking idiot and thinking you're having fun, it's like so easy to die, you know? And it's just like it's scary to look back all these years later and think like there's so many times I could have died, you know?
Well, yeah, because I mean, doesn't that like people have that in the hospital? Like, I would think that would almost put you in a coma. Like,
It's fucking so strong. But I kept snorting them, they just like wouldn't get me high. And so it's just like that's where I was going with that though. I don't even think that was the funny one I was gonna say. But
no, you're talking about this guy. What?
yeah, well, I brought that up to bring up like that amount, you know, because
yeah.
if you think like 20 or 25 Vicodins, you think, Jesus, you know, they could kill somebody. And this dude's like he's huge, you know, he was like a monster back then. He's like a wrestler guy.
Yeah.
So he was massive, but
I mean, so is that similar? Okay, so you know, like when you feel good when you're drinking, you know, like I've done it in the past. Like I'm not an alcoholic. I really don't even love to drink, but there'd be times when I would drink, and I would consider myself a binge drinker, to where you
Of
drink
course.
until like you can't, you know, you pass out or whatever. But like you just you get to this feeling, and you're like, oh, I need more. I want more. I want more. And then before you know it, you're throwing up or you're passed out. And
the way it was explained to me in rehab was that, and I've said this on, it might have been the museum podcast, but like your receptors that fire all that dopamine and serotonin, that's what makes you feel good. When you are running them so hard, they just burn out. Well, you don't have any more dopamine or serotonin, but then you just like, you burn them out. So now you're not even getting the high, right? So then like, I think that's when it can start really affecting your heart and stuff, because you're taking this thing, it's not giving you the feeling you desire. So you keep doing it. And then your heart all of a sudden is like, what the fuck, dude? And it's slowed down to a place where it just like can stop, you know? It's fucking nuts. But I think about shit like that, and I know there are a lot of people that have had those close calls, unfortunately, and it's like, stop doing that, because one day you're not going to mean it and it's going to kill you. And, you know, a lot of my friends and people you know too, you know, that it happens, and you don't, I mean, who the fuck are you to know what amount you were supposed to take of anything, right? You're not a fucking scientist or doctor.
Well, no, and now stuff is being laced and people don't even know.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
I sharded one time. I shit myself.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So there's my funny story. Is that I
don't think any of it's funny. It's
No,
kinda
it isn't.
Depressing me, honestly.
You're right. All right. I don't want to depress you. So stop doing drugs, people.
Yeah, please.
Life's a lot better that way.
You know, I went through probably a summer of doing drugs that I'm not proud of, and it was just being given to me, and I wasn't addicted to it. It was more like, oh, something to do. It's fun. I'm hanging out with friends and people I really respected, actually. So they're giving it to me. Might as well. I have nothing else going on. But I felt like one day I was driving home, and I'm like, I just started thinking about my nieces, and I was just like, what would they think if they knew I was doing this? Somebody that they should be looking up to, and that was it for me. I felt so ashamed and everything. But I am very, very fortunate that I don't know what it is, if it's like how I'm made, but I've never really been addicted to anything. I don't think, you know. And they say like heroin, you do it one time, you can be addicted. And I have a very, very close friend, and she was addicted for a while, and then she was able to get off of it. Like, unlike, you know, she's strong like you, that she was able to do it. Like most people I know just couldn't do it. But anyway, they say, well, all it takes is one time. But like, it makes me wonder. Well, I wonder if I did it, if I'd be addicted, because I haven't been addicted to anything else. Not that I would ever.
We're not gonna find out.
I'm never gonna try, but I always did like have that in the back.
What if you came to me one day like, babe, I tried heroin today? I'm like, well, what in the fuck? You're leaving.
Well, I've never even had an Oxycontin. You know, the oxycodone. They're
good.
The only narcotic I ever had was, like I told you, that Norco.
Yeah. When
I broke my wrist, and I didn't even take them all. I think I ended up throwing them away. I just took them for my therapy, and I mean, there were a couple times in the beginning when I was after my surgery. You know, I needed them. I was in pain, but I don't like the feeling of that stuff. Like I couldn't imagine wanting to do it to like for fun.
Over and over
You
and
know?
over, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be at parties and everybody was taking pills and stuff. I mean, and I'd hung out with friends that like had Adderall and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it'll make me want to stay awake, but I didn't like anything that made me like uppers, that made me like hyper and stuff. I just
Yeah.
didn't like that. It would always make me nauseous and
Well, and there's
I
that
just
thing
didn't like
about
it.
fitting in too, right? And if you're
Yes.
doing shit you don't want to do to fit in, then I think that does go with your, not your theory, but the theory of childhood
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. You know, if and for what it's worth, I like had a great childhood. It's just that there were things missing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so when you're doing something to fit in, it's generally not something you want to be doing, and then the addiction takes over and does its thing, and then unfortunately some people, myself, aren't as good at controlling things like that. So
Yeah.
but I am so pumped to be talking into this microphone to you guys alive at 40, almost 41 soon. Very happily married, good kids. One doesn't seem to want to do his homework lately, but we're going to fix that. And great career and good couple friends, and everything's going good. So I wanted to come down and talk about that and just let you guys know how happy I am. And I'm really thankful that you listen. And, again, if you're having any trouble, email me, and I might be dumb enough to give you my phone number and talk to you. If there's any way I can help you at all, I'd be happy to. I don't know if I'm just going to give every freak out there my phone number, but if somebody really needs it, that's what I like to try to help people if I can. So just take it easy and find that thing you need. And if you need help finding it, there's help out there. So.
There really is. I mean, when you're, I've not only with Dom, but with family and stuff, when people have said, hey, will you be here for me? There's people in your life that love you and they will always be there for you. Now, if you keep burning them and, using them and stealing from them, they may have to put up that boundary. But if you
Or
really,
kick your fucking ass.
yeah, but if you really legitimately want help and you want someone to be there, almost everyone has somebody in their life, whether it's a family member, a friend, a spouse, like just reach out. And if you don't have that person, whether it's church or a doctor, like there's going to be somebody to help you. Like don't give up. You're never, ever going to be alone. I mean,
If you need help, call Alicia 314. No, I'm kidding. But
well,
we'd be happy to give you a hand. And with that said, big news. I would like to hit that button that goes, wah, 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 the horn thing, but I'll fuck it up and it won't
Yeah.
work right because I can't seem to work
you'll talk like a robot.
Yeah, I can't seem to work my soundboard. But October 13th, the one and only Dr. Larry Shapiro is coming on the cast.
I cannot wait.
I know.
That's so awesome.
It's going to be great. And he's pumped to do it, and I wasn't sure because he's like
a celebrity in my eyes.
yeah.
Like me being a Christian person, you're not supposed to idol a human being.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well,
he's a good guy.
You're not supposed to, but he's like on that level to me. Like he's just somebody I admire and
Very
respect.
much.
And I don't think I know I wouldn't be sitting here today if it was not for him, because like even before you got clean and there was just some things in our relationship and things I was insecure about, and he helped
Yeah.
me through that, and he was there for me too. Like
He's a
really,
fucking man.
really good guy.
But
yeah.
when I was messaging with him about it, I don't know why, but I had this vibe because like he's a professional and I'm just some idiot, and I just kind of figured he'd be
Yeah.
like, but he was like, I'm really looking forward to it, Dom. I can't wait, and like he's coming over, and it's weird because I've only ever talked to him in his office in a professional setting, and he's coming to my house with my dog.
It is so weird that you have two people that were professional for you, like counselors or whatever they
Right.
were, and now like I don't know, you're like at a different level with them.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't almost a friendship. One of them,
A little bit,
you
yeah.
are, you know, you do have a friendship. And Dr. Shapiro, like, I think you'll always look at him like a doctor, but yeah, like he's coming to your house. Like, I don't think that's normal for him to like do that with
No,
past patients. You know, it's very,
no.
I don't know, the whole
And it's
thing.
all, and obviously this is about, you know, talking to him is going to be about spreading the word and like how to help people and what he does and
Absolutely.
how he does it.
Absolutely.
He is now into psychedelic healing and stuff, which I can't take part in with my job, but I think, and I really want to believe in it for other people. Maybe one day the laws will change, and I fucking hope they do. But for now, but I know people that have been working with it, and they've had really good results. So I want to talk to him about that because like anything he can do to help other people.
Sure. And help people get off like these medications that like, because that was something that I know you and a lot of guys or and females, you know, getting out of getting home from combat and stuff, like the doctors giving them all those like what is it, the benzo class type drugs.
Yeah.
And isn't that, I mean, not to like totally go off topic, but like the doctors and psychiatrists were prescribing you guys all of these things to keep you from what, being violent, or they would say it was for PTSD
Antipsychotic.
and all these things. But like the guy who ended up shooting Chris Kyle, wasn't he on like a cocktail of a lot of different things?
Most everybody is. Yeah.
And yeah,
The
so
unfortunate side is that they all, if you like look into them or whatever, again, I don't know anything, but they all kind of counteract each other,
yeah,
right? So you can't be on like too many things because then one voids out the other, and then you get benefits from this, but not that. And it's like,
it's just crazy because you can have a prescription for it. People think it's safe,
Yeah.
but there's so many pharmaceutical drugs that are just not safe. I mean, what oxycodone and Oxycontin and Vicodin, all those things, yes, they have a purpose. I believe that, but all the harm that they've done and the abuse that has come out of it, like,
well,
I
and that,
don't know.
and that was never Shapiro's lane with me.
No,
I know
no,
you're
no,
not
no,
saying
no.
it
I'm
was.
just
I just
saying,
want to make it clear.
I was just saying that if he's trying to, you know, if he's, I know he'd talk about it. He'd been researching other things,
Yeah.
you know, things that are more natural, and it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say because of what we know about the pharmaceutical drugs and the side effects and what it causes people to do, and just how a lot of them just are not good for you.
Yeah. I have, like, of course, I have ideas because I've been thinking about talking to him for a long time outside of his office where I'm the patient. But
Well,
like,
sometimes you gotta be a patient.
but what do I do? Like, do I go back into me at all, or kind of skip? Because like, I think that, you know, like you talking about me paints a different picture than I can paint, right? Because you know more. Well, like, what was the first day you met me? Like, what did you think? You know, I'm talking about Shapiro, like, you know what I mean? But I don't want it to just be about me. I want it to be, but it's like, I don't know what kind of time frame he has. So you don't want to crunch, but you don't want to skip
Yeah.
over anything too, you
No,
know? So
I think it's important because it's your listeners to kind of just know the and you've told the history a little
Pretty
bit.
much.
You can brush on it and like start with
Yeah.
that, but then because I mean, I just remember being, you know, the times that I was in there with you and him being in his chair, you know, and like the things that he would say to you, like he almost was like, cut the crap, Dom, but he wouldn't say it in like a mean way to where you would get like defensive even. It was just like he would call you out. He was totally just like real. He would call you out, but he would never piss you off. And it was like the only person I ever saw not piss you off.
well,
It was, I don't know. He like has some kind of,
he's too calming.
he has a presence to
Yeah.
him and I can't even explain it. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
to see how you interacted with him, I was like, whoa. I mean, it was really
And I've
cool.
said it before, he wasn't buying it. Like I couldn't get it past him. Like where with most therapists, I felt like I could manipulate it in my favor.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
Well, like you would have an excuse and he'd be like, oh no, okay. So like just even getting set up with Wounded Warrior Project. Well, I don't do phone calls. I don't do that. Okay. So he was like, well, then we're spending this session calling Wounded Warrior Project. And
Right.
he'd pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't, it was like he'd figure out what your
Yeah.
issue was and well, we're gonna figure out this issue. Like he just
He very much had the key. Like to the problem, you know.
And I think he was very helpful with your recovery, because when you decided from after like outside of his office that you were going to be clean, then it was, how were you going to stay clean? And that was where we went into this before, the people, places, and things, and with family and things. He was the one that had to really kind of break it down for you about
Yeah.
how you were going to do it. Like, he helped you through the process of how you were going to say it, like the conversation you were going to have. Like, I remember he helped
Yeah, because
you be able to do that.
I could have just said anything, but he wasn't gonna that wasn't gonna pass his test. You know, he's like, man, I'm not just gonna say it. What do you what, how, when, why?
Well, but you said when you went to rehab and you were asking in that class, like, or whatever it was in group, how are you not going to hang out with your mom, kind
Right.
of thing. And I mean, but you said that with Dr. Shapiro, to where okay, well, and he like
Yeah.
laid it out how you were to make it realistic on how you were going to be able to do it.
Yeah,
And he helped you through that. So I just think that was,
he's a trip.
yeah.
So I'm really excited about that, and I'm gonna do my best to, you know, get better at interviewing and listening and all that stuff. But I'm just I'm excited to hear what he has to say, and I think that some people are definitely gonna learn a few things that day. So, including myself, you know, and so I'm pretty pumped. about
Yeah.
that.
I'm like, I want to hear more about his new practice, because I know he switched
Yeah,
practices
yeah.
recently. And before, he's so good at what he does. He was so backed up, like he could barely even take new patients. So I'm curious.
I don't see him being able to take new patients.
I know, but like with his personality, it's not like he wants to turn anyone away. So I'm just like wondering
Yeah.
how that's all going. Like how he decides to take patients. Like, where, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just curious to see how things are going, and
We will find
and
out.
how he's helping other people, and if he's had any other big success stories, you know.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
There's no way that I'm the only one, you know? So, all right, man. I got to get up at 3:40, so we're going to get out of here. Thanks for checking in again. For real, if you want to, I guess I shouldn't just assume anybody will, but email me. pjmdjm1961@gmail. Alaska native, or maybe not native, hit me up. I'm gonna try to design something, some kind of hoodie or something, and I'll send it to you. Thanks, everybody. I'm happy. I'm happy you guys are all here and checking this out, and I'm happy to be alive. So that's what I'll leave you with. That's my positive thing for today. Thanks, babe, for sticking by me through all that. I still don't know if you should have or not, but I am glad that you did, and I love you very much.
Yeah. Hopefully you still love me now that you're all like sober and clean, and you're like,
Well, it's been a while, so I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon.
I know.
All right, man. You guys be cool. We'll talk to you soon. Take it easy.
Good night.